Nice and new. Hi guys, welcome to a new video, and today we're going to be discussing kind of an issue I've had with the bike. And as you guys know, in the last year I've started to try and do my own maintenance and stuff. So stuff I've been slightly nervous about doing, but it gets a lot cheaper, and once you have all the parts, mind you, the first time you do something and you need a new tool or a good few tools in my case, it will be more expensive than probably taking it to the garage. It is quite fun when things go wrong as well, because then you need to problem solve. When I took the bike for its MOT in March, I asked them to tighten the chain because I've never done that before and hadn't planned on ever doing it. They came back saying, alright, but it will need replaced. Not just now, but soon. I noticed when I was been going to work, definitely over the last 3 or 4 weeks, you could hear the chain more and more and more, and I was like, oh, it's getting a bit risky. And then I was like, I took it off the rear sprocket. I can physically move this, and I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to do something about this. So go on Amazon, I buy a paddock stand for I think £48. I'll do a review on that later. I buy a chain breaker kit because I'll need to do that, and the rest of the stuff again I need a new chain, a rear sprocket, and a front sprocket, because you may as well do them at the same time anyway, because yeah, you may as well just do them at the same time, and it's not too difficult, he says. And what else did I buy? I needed to buy a new sprocket, a socket for the front, because that's the 30mm I had, and then new sockets for the axle nut as well, because my sockets didn't go up to 27mm. So there were two new, I've got a whole bunch of sockets, but they didn't come with 30, they came with a 32, and it did fit around the 30, and I was like, should I try it? And I was like, no, we'll get the 30 and I'll be fine. That came the next day. I also bought mini digital calipers, and they're slightly on the cheaper side of tech, and they're okay. I guess they do the job, but that's a story for another video. As I said in my first video, I was advised by my friend, give yourself more time. So I thought, I've got Thursday to Sunday here. So I was like, that's a good amount, that's a good chunk of time. So what did I go and do? I start the Thursday, so I do this kind of soft, easy stuff on Monday, put the bike up at the stand, take the side panel off to get access to the front sprocket. I just kind of do that sort of stuff on Thursday. So Friday comes, and this is where I really start going for it. So I break the chain, and I'll do my own video discussing that, I guess. Reviewing the chain breaker tool I bought. I then proceed to do the front sprocket. So took the front sprocket off after having to wrestle with the put in gear, take it off gear, and then do all that sort of stuff. I did that. Changed the sprocket, put some grip tight on the nut, and tightened it in. Just the blue stuff, because I do want to get it off eventually. And then I proceed to take the tyre off. So I'd undo the axle nut, and then take the tyre off, and then go to take the sprocket off. And I don't know what happened with my dyslexic head. I think it was because when things are vertical or upright, it just made sense in my head. When it was upright, I kind of left it on righty-tighty, and I warped one bolt, and I was thinking that's a bit weird. But then I thought maybe it's just because it's not been cleaned for a while. So I tried on 2 other ones, and I moved them, and I'm like, oh, that's good. I've loosened this one. I'll loosen this one off next. And then I realised, oh shit, I'm turning right. And as I turned left, I stick it into lefty-loosey. The same 2 bolts that I had moved, I must have obviously over-tightened them, and then I snapped them. So you can see this here, good bolt, good bolt, good bolt, and good bolt there. And oops, you've got the one here which I've had to angle grind, that was the warped one, and I've got these 2 that I snapped off there. Now it could have been it's probably a glaring obvious thing I done wrong, was forget to check what setting the torque wrench was at, and I paid the price. So I was a bit, mad at myself, and I was like thinking, what part is this? I'm like, I don't know. I'm looking up things, and I can't find anything. So I decide, I get my phone, take a picture of it, and then go on the Samsung AI, circle the thing, and it comes up saying this looks like a rear sprocket carrier from I can't remember if it said an MT07, but I knew now what I was looking for. So I type in rear sprocket carrier for sale, and up comes eBay for a 2021 model, and up comes eBay, and I'm like, oh, I'm not getting this till Monday. I'm I'm like on 2 or 3 of them. I scroll down, and then this Motu Mini or whatever they were called, specialise in motorcycle parts. They had a rear sprocket carrier for a 2024 model, and I was like, I wonder would that fit. So what do? I go on artificial intelligence again, and I asked that will a 2024 model Yamaha MT07 rear sprocket carrier, will that work in a 2021 model? And I think it came up saying from the years 2020 or 2018 and onwards, Yamaha haven't changed the rear sprocket carrier. I was like, I know it's AI, it's not always accurate, so I thought, and this is only £45, and it said it will come overnight. Cool, I'll get this for tomorrow, and I can see £45, not a great deal of money. What happens is it starts, the whole tracking process starts, and it was like it just stops in a warehouse or a delivery point, and I was like, shit, it's because this is Saturday and now Saturday and Sunday. They must not deliver Saturdays and Sundays. I'm like, and then I start thinking, because I'm looking at pictures of this thing, it's the whole sprocket and the little metal part and the bolts, but it just says rear sprocket carrier, and I'm like, am I going to get the bolts? I'm going to get the bolts with this thing? But just worrying, I'm just going to have to like buy more bolts and stuff, and I'm not going to be operating, I'm not going to be driving in for some time, you know, because I think I remember looking at bolts and trying to get the right size ones. They were going to be here within like a week or something like that. So like, I really want to get back on the road, you know. So Monday comes, and there we are. It arrived. Bolts. I used sprocket. I was not interested in the rear sprocket because I've got my brand new one. So all I was interested in was the rear sprocket carrier. So I managed to take the rear sprocket out, because this is the reason I discovered that we could change just the rear sprocket carrier was I accidentally just pulled my one off, and I was like, alright, that comes off. Because I originally was thinking I'm going to have to buy an entire new wheel here. And then when I was looking up new wheels, not all of them came with tyres. I was like, I'm doing my own maintenance, but putting a tyre on a bike is probably beyond my capabilities here. But it all came, it all fit in place, and it was great. And I was like, fantastic. So I obviously had put the new sprocket on, and then I don't know what it is with you guys. I don't know what it's like with you guys, but when I was watching the YouTube videos, when the guys put the wheels back on, or the tires, the wheels back on, it was a lot more simpler for them. They literally just lifted it up and that, but it could be an easy cut, because the spacer kept falling out for one thing on the sprocket side. No, on the brake side, sorry. And I was like, so I kept having to fight with that, trying to get the axle in, and yeah, it was a bit of a hullabaloo there. But eventually got it all in, and and then the other issue was the brake as well. So in hindsight, I probably should have just taken one brake off, because I don't, obviously because the tyre was squint, the brake was catching the tyre, and it was like, so I ended up pushing everything forward, then putting the brake back on. And that seems to work, because before, when I was just putting the brake on, tying it all up to spec, the wheel was solid, and like I could not move it at all. I was like, shit. But when I straightened everything up and done everything like that, it was back to being how it was. So another lesson learned there, I guess. And so what I go and do then, after I do that, put the chain on, rivet that. And first time doing that, so I took my time with that as well, and tightened the chain, and it seems to be working perfectly. I've only taken it to work once since I've done this, but so far so good. I'll be doing that again, obviously, when it comes time to change the chain and change the sprockets. What I probably might have done slightly wrong is I didn't count the links, and I've just put the chain on so I could be technically. But when I when I originally went round, it was tight and it was like, it didn't look like I needed to take anything off, but looking at how far the tyre is away, I'll have some adjustment in it, but I probably most likely will have to get a new chain before I have to change the sprockets. But that's probably a lesson learned there as well, but it's what it is. I've got a new chain, I've got a new rear sprocket carrier, the bike's back in operation, and yet again I've done it all by myself, and I'm quite happy with myself, to be honest. I've overcome a few hardships, and yeah, it was good. What more can I say? Next time I do it, I probably will film it, and I'll try and make it more. There was one more issue as well with the brake, the rear brake, because I'd taken it off it and slid it down because it's attached to the axle. There was like and there's two notches in it. There's like one is like that size, and one is just like an open-ended long one. So I opted to put it in there because thinking of when the tire moves back, you're obviously going to have to. That's obviously going to be there. Because if I just let it go, it would just be like riding up over the place, and that was the only other thing I struggled with as well. But yeah, as I said, next time I do this, I will film it. I'll try and make it. I know there's a lot of videos on it, but it's also filming stuff is good just for your own records as well. And kind of partially, I wish I did film me doing this, not to put it on YouTube, but just for going back and checking things out, especially with that brake thing. But as I said, I've managed to do it, so I'll film the next chain and sprocket change, and hopefully the grip tight won't be too hard to get off. But I did YouTube that as well, and the guy and people did say you should put some on, and that will hopefully stop the front sprocket from not coming loose, because that wouldn't be good for anyone. But anyway, if you did like this kind of video, it's been a while, I guess, since I've done anything to the bike. The next process is going to be changing the oil, and I'll decide whether or not to change the brake pads or not. But the brake pads are working fine just now, and they look alright. So, but the oil will need changes because it's been used quite a bit, and it's been over a year, or nearly a year. It'll be a year in August since I last changed the oil, I believe. So if you did like this, give this a big thumbs up, hit the comments down below, and subscribe. I've just hit 367 subscribers. Amazing. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I will keep up posting videos. Thank you very much. Have a good night or a good day wherever you are. Bye bye.